Hello, and welcome to the final edition of the Cocoa Puff Cap'n Crunch podcast. Today we're going to talk about some concepts such as hurting, self-hurting, our irrational behaviors, social norms and how they can impact us, and communal plates and the impact of price in our lives. So when we say hurting, Ariely states that when we assume that something is good or bad on the basis of other people's previous behavior and our actions follow suit. When we're trying to decide where we want to go to eat downtown and we see a huge line outside of this restaurant. I know this happened to me in Montreal. I was actually with Christina, and we saw this huge line outside the door, and we assumed that it would be a good place to go. So we waited in line and we sat down, and honest to God, it was very, very good. So we were kind of herded into that mentality, just like Ariely states. But these can also lead to irrational behaviors such as buying all of the chocolate because we see that everybody's buying this chocolate and we know it tastes good, so we want to buy it. And that can also be impacted through advertisements on TV and marketing. But he says that we can improve on our irrational behaviors and we can become aware of our vulnerabilities. And especially like in the place of chocolate, when we really want that chocolate but we don't consider our future happiness, we just consider the immediate sense of pleasure that we get once we eat that chocolate, we kind of forget about our future selves. So we have to train ourselves to kind of question our repeated behaviors and to ask ourselves what amount of pleasure we can get out of this in the future. And once we consider these old choices, such as eating like a whole chocolate bar at 1 a.m. because we think we deserve it because we just did a whole lot of work, we can reconsider this and we can open ourselves to new decisions and the new opportunities of a new day. So we can take active steps to improve ourselves, essentially. And Ariely also brings up another concept, which is the concept of price and the impact that can have on our lives. Once price is eliminated, we become less selfish. So he states that when price is not a part of the exchange, we become less selfish maximizers and start caring more about the welfare of others. I know that that's very true. Like when I see something at the Davis Center and it's free, and I know that my friends like it, I'll grab a piece and then I'll hand it to them later because I know that that's that. And even though I might like that piece of candy too, I'll give it to my other friends because it was free. And so I'm not being selfish, I guess, in that point. Or I won't eat the whole cake because, let's say if I got a free cake, I want to share it with other people. I don't want to eat the whole cake by myself because I didn't give up anything to get this cake. This is just a part that I happened to come upon. So I definitely can see how that relates in our lives, that we care more about others if something comes into our lives that was free and we didn't have to pay for it because that's us giving up something as a part of our lives. Never mind the fact of like holidays or Christmas where we do buy gifts for other people, but in our typical everyday lives, I can see how this can relate. And he also talks about the communal plate concept. So he states that the communal plate transforms the food into a shared resource. And once that is part of the entire social good, we can get out of that concept of like greediness and we can use other behaviors and we can share with others. And the act of sharing is a very wholesome concept and feeling. I get really warm and fuzzy whenever I share something with my friends, and we both enjoy and partake in it together. But this whole concept of social norms also relates to how people are influenced by others and influenced by anchor points, for example, or by hurting. Reynolds even states in their article that running can also influence, or social norms can influence how people run. So let's say if you have a running partner, you guys kind of push each other to go more and more and more because the competitiveness is just there. And we want to be along our friends. We want to challenge them, challenge ourselves. It's almost kind of to be a little bit better. I know with my friend Stevie, when she first got me into running, I know that she was definitely thriving off the fact that I could barely run a mile, but now I've caught up to her because of that competitiveness. So those social norms are definitely there and they definitely impact our lives in terms of hurting, in terms of sharing and price, in our behaviors in society. Well, thank you so much and I appreciate it. Bye.